Sophie, Countess of Wessex, GCVO DStJ CD, born Sophie Helen Rhys-Jones, January 20, 1965, is a member of the British royal family. She is married to Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. She grew up in Brenchley, Kent and later attended West Kent College, training as a secretary. She subsequently began working in public relations, establishing her own agency in 1996. Sophie met Edward in 1987 while working for Capital Radio, and they began dating in 1993. Their engagement was announced in January 1999, and they were married on 19th of June at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. The couple have two children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Viscount Severn, who are respectively 13th and 12th in line to the British throne. In 2002, Sophie closed her business interests and began full-time work as a member of the royal family. She is the patron of several organizations, and her charity work revolves around people with disabilities, gender-based violence, avoidable blindness, and agriculture. Sophie Helen Rhys-Jones was born at Radcliffe Infirmary, Oxford, on January 20, 1965. 1. Her father, Christopher Borns Rhys-Jones, born 1931, is a retired sales director for an importer of industrial tires and rubber goods. 2. Her mother was Mary, née O'Sullivan, 1934-2005, a charity worker and secretary. 3-4. Sophie has an elder brother, David, and was named after her father's sister, Helen, who died in a riding accident in 1960. Her godfather, actor Thane Bettany, was her father's stepbrother. 5. Both men spent their early life in Sarawak, North Borneo, then a British protectorate ruled by the White Rajas. 6. Sophie descends from King Henry IV of England. She is related to the family of the Viscounts Molesworth. Her grandmother, Margaret Rhys-Jones, née Molesworth, was the great-granddaughter of the Reverend John Molesworth, himself the father of Sir Guilford Molesworth and the great-grandson of Robert Molesworth, 1st Viscount Molesworth. 7, 8, 9. Sophie was raised in a 4-bedroom 17th-century farmhouse in Brenchley, Kent. She began her education at Dulwich Preparatory School, before moving on to Kent College, Pembury, where she was friends with Sarah Sienese, with whom she subsequently shared a flat in Fulham and who later became her lady-in-waiting. Sophie then trained as a secretary at West Kent College, Tunbridge. 10. She began a career in public relations, working for a variety of firms, including 4 years at Capital Radio, 11, where she was assigned to the press and promotions department, as well as public relations companies the Quentin Bell Organization and McLaurin Communications and Media. 12. She also worked as a ski representative in Switzerland and spent a year traveling and working in Australia. In 1996, Rhys-Jones launched her public relations agency, RJH Public Relations, which she ran with her business partner, Murray Harkin, for 5 years. 12-13. While working at Capital Radio, Sophie met Prince Edward, the youngest son of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, for the first time in 1987 when he was dating her friend. 14. She met Prince Edward again at a charity event in 1993, and the two began their relationship soon afterwards. 15. Their engagement was announced on January 6, 1999. 16. Edward proposed to Sophie with an engagement ring featuring a 2-carat oval diamond flanked by 2 heart-shaped gemstones set in 18-carat white gold. The ring was made by Asprey and Garrard, now Garrard and Company, and is worth an estimated £105,000. 17. Sophie, who was reportedly close to the Queen from the beginning of her relationship with Edward, was allowed to use the royal apartments at Buckingham Palace prior to her engagement. 18. The wedding took place on 19th of June of the same year at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, a break from the weddings of Edward's older siblings, which were large, formal events at Westminster Abbey or St. Paul's Cathedral. 19. On the day of their marriage, Prince Edward was created a hereditary peer as Earl of Wessex with the subsidiary title of Viscount Severn, derived from the Welsh roots of the Countess's family. 20. It is understood that he will be elevated as Duke of Edinburgh when that title reverts to the Crown. 20. The couple spent their honeymoon at Balmoral Castle. 19. Following their union, the Earl and Countess moved to Bagshot Park, their home in Surrey. 21. While their private residence is Bagshot Park, their office and official London residence is based at Buckingham Palace. 22. Due to renovations at Buckingham Palace in 2018, the couple temporarily moved their offices to St. James's Palace. 23. In December 2001, the Countess was taken to the King Edward VII Hospital after feeling unwell. It was discovered that she was suffering from an ectopic pregnancy and the fetus had to be removed. 24. 2 years later, on November 8, 2003, she prematurely gave birth to her daughter, Lady Louise, resulting from a sudden placental abruption that placed both mother and child at risk, and the Countess had to undergo an emergency caesarean section at Frimley Park Hospital, while the Earl of Wessex rushed back from Mauritius. 25. The Countess returned to Frimley Park Hospital on December 17, 2007, to give birth, again by caesarean section, to her son, James, Viscount Severn. 26. The Countess of Wessex's first overseas tour after her marriage was to the Canadian province of Prince Edward Island in 2000. 27. In December 2011, the Countess of Wessex joined her husband visiting troops in Afghanistan. In February and March 2012, the Earl and Countess visited the Caribbean for the Diamond Jubilee, visiting St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Montserrat, St. Kitts, and Nevis, Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda. Highlights of the tour included the 50th anniversary Independence Day celebrations in St. Lucia, a joint address from both houses of the Barbados Parliament and a visit to sites affected by the recent volcanic eruptions in Montserrat. 28. In June 2012, as part of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebrations, the Earl and Countess of Wessex represented the Queen during a 3-day tour to Gibraltar. The couple attended a Queen's birthday parade and toured Main Street, in the historic Old Town. 29. In 2013, the couple visited South Africa. Later that year, the Countess made solo trips to India and Qatar as the patron of the sight-saving charity Orbis UK. 18. 30-31, she made a similar visit to Bangladesh in November 2017. 32. The Countess, as Colonel-in-Chief of Corps of Army Music, visited the Countess of Wessex's string orchestra at the Royal Artillery Barracks, in London. On March 3, 2014, the Queen approved the title of the Countess of Wessex's String Orchestra for the new Army String Orchestra in recognition of the Corps of Army Music's Colonel-in-Chief. 33. In November 2014, the Countess was in Zambia representing the Queen at the state funeral of the late President of Zambia, Michael Sata. 34. On March 26, 2015, she attended the reburial of Richard III of England in Leicester Cathedral. 35. In May 2015, the Countess represented the Queen in the 70th anniversary celebrations to mark the Liberation Day of the Channel Islands. The Countess delivered a message from the Queen, who paid tribute to the island's continued allegiance and loyalty to the Crown. 36. The Countess visited Canada and the United States in November 2015. While in Toronto, she crisscrossed across the city, making stops at the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair and the UHN's Toronto General Hospital and Toronto Western Hospital, of which she is patron. Sophie then traveled to New York City, paying an emotional visit to the National September 11th Memorial and Museum. The Countess also made an appearance at an Armistice Day service at the Queen Elizabeth II September 11th Garden, which was opened in commemoration of the 67 British victims of the attack. The Countess later attended the 100 Women in Hedge Funds Gala Dinner in Manhattan. 37-38. The Earl and Countess of Wessex toured Canada in June 2016, visiting Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. The couple visited a variety of places in and around Regina, Saskatchewan before attending the Globe Theatre's 50th anniversary gala. 39. In March 2017, the Countess embarked on a 4-day visit to Malawi as vice patron of the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust, visiting programs to end avoidable blindness and champion young leaders. 40. On May 9, 2017, the Countess attended King Harold and Queen Sonja of Norway's 80th birthday celebrations on behalf of the royal family. 41-42. The Earl and Countess of Wessex represented the Queen at the 50th anniversary celebrations of Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah's accession to the throne of Brunei in October 2017. 43. On November 30, 2017, the Countess visited the Making for Change Fashion Training and Manufacturing Unit, a fashion training and manufacturing unit established by the Ministry of Justice and London College of Fashion at Home Prison Downview as patron of the London College of Fashion. During her visit, the Countess met staff and prisoners, including female inmates, and awarded participants with certificates as part of their training program. 4445